conversations you want, and we're here to give it to you. We are sponsored. Remember, we're sponsored by Musicians Local. You can find them online on Instagram at _musicians_local. And you can find them on musicianslocal-local nyc.com for all your music needs. If you need a band, if you need sound, lighting, singers, whatever you need musically, these guys got it. They'll set you up. Just tell them we sent you. All right? Okay. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to get started today. We appreciate your love. We appreciate the likes and the views. And we're going to get started. Let's get started. So we got Mikey here, our bass player, resident bass player.
Soon
keyboardist. Okay. All right. We got Will, organist, arranger, keyboard player, and a whole lot of things.
Tech man, that's all.
Tech man. Anything you want to know about instruments and music, this guy can tell you. And me, Pascal, aka Cloud. Whichever one you want to call me, I'm fine with that. I kind of like Pascal better, but
all right.
Cloud
No more
is
Cloud.
Cool. Cloud is cool. It's cool. Some people can't say Pascal, so I've gotten Pascal.
If you can say Bethany,
Pascanelli.
if you can say Bethany, if you can say Elizabeth, you can say Pascal.
Listen, Pascanelli, all kinds of fake Italian names. I don't know where they're coming from when Pascal is French.
The only one I could think is we mess up Pascal with Pascal.
Pascal, yeah, I get that too. I once got Pakistan.
Yeah.
Dude called me Pakistan. I was like, wow, okay. You're not paying attention. Your ears are they're not working.
Yeah.
But anyway, our subject today is decorum. When you're on the bandstand, on stage, whatever you want to call it, whether you're at a church, a club, or a private event, wherever you are on stage, what is proper decorum, or at least basic decorum, for playing with the band? We understand you got to dress properly for the occasion, blah, blah, blah. You got to be on time, professionalism, and all of those good things. But we want to talk about having decorum as you play with the band and the singers. You know, some examples of that would just be not overplaying, not overpowering the rest of the band or the singers. Just knowing the balance, when to come in and come out, put things in or whatever. Because if the singers are singing certain things, you can't be playing licks in the back when the singer is really like trying to push. And then sometimes you can, but it has to be a compliment, right?
Yeah.
You gotta. That's what I want to say. Your job is to compliment. It's not to be you're not the main event. People didn't come to see you.
Yeah, unless you are the main event.
You are the main event. You know
if you're
what
playing
I mean?
within the band and you're not the lead.
Yeah, if you're not the lead,
position.
you got to play your position. All right, so these are just some ideas I have. In my head, I think when I get on the bandstand, first thing I want to know, I know what my parts are. You do the EQing or sound check or whatever. I like to listen to what the bass player, the drummer, the second keys, or if I'm second keys, the first keys, or organ player, guitar, what these guys are doing. Because even though I might be at home and I learn it a certain way, if I get on stage and the guitar player is playing a major seven, for whatever reason, or dominant, I don't want to double his dominant depending on what's going on, because then I might be muddy. So I might have to play extensions. There's all kinds of things that, you got to be able to, you got to know and be able to do on the fly, so that, but you cannot do those things if you're not paying attention to the rest of the band, because sometimes it's happened to me. I get on stage and I'm like, I'm just trying to get my part right. And then getting my part right, I'm not paying attention to anybody else. You know what I mean? And sometimes I could have played an extension that helped the guitar player or the organ player better. It made the sound fuller or overall better, and I didn't. And sometimes I catch myself. I'm like, oh, I should have played this here, because it made me and him sound bad. But what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Mikey.
Oh, okay.
Will is the 1-2 punch.
Yeah. So, first things first, probably depends if there's like rehearsal.
Okay.
So, if there's rehearsal, a lot of these things, are clarified during rehearsal. But for me personally, I think when I'm performing live, I make sure to have good communication with the sound man too. Because a lot of issues with sound are going to him. He's handling a bunch of things at a time. So I make sure there's like at least communication, whether it be like through text or like whatever phone. But yeah, and it also depends if there's like an in-ear system, or if y'all like not using. If y'all using speakers, then y'all probably have to like yell across the stage or like wave your hands or something. But
that's a whole different thing. Situation right there.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but I think even what you said, like being aware of your part, I've had some times where I'm like worried about someone else's part and worried about like what's being played, and then I miss my part, or like I'm not aware of what's going on my end. So it happens, but that's something that comes with like over time and like being prepared, being professional.
Not listening to the song once and thinking you're going on stage. I got this. It's got the same movements as this other song. Think you're just gonna go up. You could be good and still fail.
Exactly.
I mean, like the average person may not catch it, but like somebody in that band, the singers or anybody else, like, bro, come on. Like, what are you doing right now? Another thing I realized is that sometimes when you got your part down, listening to others play, you can actually help somebody else's mistake because you're paying attention. You know what I mean? Like you could help somebody else's mistake and cover them.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to cover each other. We're a unit.
Yeah.
If you go in understanding, this is a unit, we all gotta sound good, then it doesn't become a thing where as long as I'm good. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you approach it with that attitude, it makes things harder than they have to be. At least that's what I think. You know what I mean? Like if you come in just positive and thinking, okay, I'm gonna do my part, but I'm gonna pay attention to where I could fit in and help others. Or make this thing sound good. Because sometimes you have rehearsal and then like when you get on stage, everything changed. Everything changed. It could be the sound, it could be whatever. The singer might, for some reason, decide they're gonna change their inflection and go this way and go that way, and anybody else on any instrument might decide they want to improv some situation. And the thing with keyboard players is that when you're playing, you can't afford to play and sound thin. You cannot sound thin unless it's absolutely necessary for that part. You can't sound thin. So like you play with sometimes, and some passages may be hard to get around, right? But like that bottom, rootless, with the root or rootless, whatever it is, you gotta have the bottom. Because no matter how nice the top is, if there's no bottom, it sounds incomplete. So you might as well, it's better if you have the bottom and you didn't do the nice part on top. And you sounded good. As opposed to in your head, you're just trying to be so creative and impressive that you're trying to go up here, and then down here is completely empty. And because you didn't properly, plan it out, or I don't want to say plan it out too much, but properly understand where you're at, you fumble the left so you can get the right. But really, the left is oftentimes more important than the right, because the left is usually where your chords are, right? So, you know,
I mean, I feel like some keyboard players probably do that on purpose, like, because they know they have a bass player.
Yeah. So see, but that's not only with bass players. Because like where I'm at the church in Harlem, right?
Yeah.
My boy Sammy's on organ. I'm on keys.
Yeah.
I know when Sammy goes high up here, I gotta come down here to cover the bottom.
Yeah.
And so when I see him switch, because he's the band leader, so when I see him switch to the bottom, I go up here mid range or somewhere higher to make it sound like, you know, like it's a full thing.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like I noticed, like if I'm down here, he'll probably jump up on top, and then like we'll switch places or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, even with the bass player playing, you know what I mean? And you know, when you throw a guitar player in the mix of that, it becomes even more complicated.
Yeah.
But let's get the 1-2 punch. I know everybody's waiting for it.
I mean, if they're waiting for it, they can. But all of those things are true. All of those things, after a while, especially if there's no rehearsal involved, it has to come naturally. Stay out the bass. If you're on, I'm just going from the keys perspective, so it can be understood. Stay out the bass player's way. Stay out of the organist's way. Stay out of the guitar way. You know where you have to be. You hear it. You use your ears. If you're not using your ears, we got to have a whole other discussion. But the fact of the matter is, we should be using our ears, and if we are using our ears, then being a professional musician, you're going to stay out of people's way, or people might have to stay out of your way, depending on the situation. Because, like I said before, it's your placement. You could either be, if you're the band lead, then that's one thing. But also, depending on the genre, you might have to be in the front a little bit more, depending on what your instrument is. If it's rock, it'll be a little bit more guitar. If it's gospel, it's going to be a little bit more organ or keys. If it's R&B, you're gonna, it might be a hodgepodge, might be a mixture here. Bass might always has to hold down their bass line, so that's why you always just leave them alone on the bass. If you're playing with a band, by yourself, it might be a little bit different. You try to stay. That's why you try to work on your voices. Make sure you stay out of the bass player's way, and work the mid range.
Oh, I got two things. I know you could elaborate on this, right? One, no hate on the bass player. But sometimes you're playing with a bass player. He does the same thing keyboard players be doing, trying to sound nice. And you're going up here when we need the groove down here.
Oh, no. No, if they go up there, that's, like
it's
I
fair
said.
Game.
No, I know it's fair game, but you don't go down there.
No, but like if I'm playing a song that requires the bass line at that point, and
then
you're
he messed
over
up.
Here,
bass player catches all the smoke.
Just let him. It messes me up, bro. Cause I'm like, yo.
Why are you leaning on the bass player? Lean on yourself.
No, but what I'm this. But this is me, right? If I'm playing and the song needs this basic groove, and you're up here playing alternate notes.
Let me ask this. I'm not even gonna let you finish your statement. Though. Who's in charge of that groove? The bass player, right?
Yeah. So
then you play your position, and if the bass player leaves the groove, he messed up. I understand sometimes we try to save each other, but the problem is, depending on the groove, depending on the genre, if the bass is holding down the groove, you got to trust that bass player. If you don't have that trust in that bass player, that's a whole other discussion. But you got to let that bass player do what they're supposed to do. You got to trust the drummer to do what he's supposed to do. You got to trust the singer to do what she's got to do. You got to trust the keys to do what they got to do. You got to trust the guitar to do what they got to do. You got to trust the horns to do what they got to do.
Even if the bass player or whoever is throwing
because you're putting too
off.
much. Yes, you're putting too much thought on it. Play your position. Play your position. Whoever the coach is will correct it.
Well, I like that. I like it. That's tough though, but I like that.
It's not tough.
Leave it up to the coach. No, but I'm saying for me personally, like when I notice that not only are you not playing the groove, but like you're throwing everybody off, including singers, because like the groove is not there.
Maybe the groove is not that groove. Maybe it's a new groove that needs to now become. That's a genesis right there that starts. But you trying to be so hardcore on what it was. This is what it's supposed to be. How you know? I mean,
because I listen to the song, bro.
Okay, and let me.
No, but
hot take,
thing, right?
hot take. Live music is not supposed to sound like the record.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like if what you're playing is throwing off the lead, which is the singers or whoever, and somebody needs to play that part, and you're somewhere left.
No, who says that? I'm not debating that the need might be there.
Okay.
What I'm debating is that you play a position. Now, are we speaking from the MD's position? Are we speaking from the keyboard's position? Are we speaking from the bass player's position? Because it's not my job to tell Mikey, yo, you playing it off because you're not at the bottom register, and now I go down to the bottom register. Nah, play your position, make your joint sound sweet. Let him do what he's doing, and he might be making it sound sweet. It's just not what you're accustomed to. And then he's now. Let me also correct this as well, because while the bass player does what he's supposed to do, if he's doing something completely different, it's the job of him and the drummer to lock always. Now, once him and the drummer are locked, we love to be the front piece. We are not in band setting. We are not the front piece.
No.
In the band setting, the keys is nice. We got to be friendly. We got to do what we got to do, but we are not the front. We're not. Let me fix it up. I don't want to say front piece, but the lock and step people really are the bass and the drums.
Yeah.
And then we add color. Yes, the guitar gives more color. Yes, the horns give another aspect of color as well. But we are color. Mm-hmm. Now, we still got to be out there. We still got to play our position. And we still got to make sure that we shine. Not in a haughty way, but in the playing way. But I can't now go down in the bottom register. And now I'm playing all muddy as well, trying to make a groove that's supposed to be played by the bass and have the timbre, the keys. Don't work.
So you've never...
It works for you because you can, in your mind, you understand it. But sound-wise, now...
Ooh, I like that. Sound-wise.
So play your position.
So for me...
It got you back on track.
It got me back on track. But if I go down there, now I'm messing with the overall quality of the sound, is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I never thought about that.
One band, one sound is truly one band, one sound.
One band, one sound.
Now, I'm not saying don't go ham on the lamb. Go ham on the lamb on your position.
Uh-huh. I never thought of that. I just thought, let's get back on track, B. Because you're trying to play Victor Wooten over there, and we need this groove right here. But you're right.
Maybe it's a Victor Wooten.
I got it. A lot of times it's not.
No.
A lot of times it's not. They just dudes feeling themselves. But I get what you're saying.
Yes.
I get what you're saying.
And I'm going to go from this aspect as well. Maybe you got to let the bass player feel himself. I'm just using the bass player because that's the example I was given. I'm not saying you as a keys need to go out there and put yourself in that position. No. But if the bass player goes there, if it's one band, one sound, then we all got to go there. And if we all go there, then it's a genesis of something.
Okay, so this brings me to my second question, right? Which is why I brought this up.
Depending, right? We're in a cover band and it's top 40. Let me correct myself. Play records. But if it's like you're free to do what you want, be free.
Now I'm hearing what you're saying as far as like I could see in my head like if the bass player or whoever changes the groove, how we might move into that. Just like when you hear people playing shout and somebody else comes with an idea and everybody kind of goes to it and it works, my head is thinking when it's not working, but I can see what you're saying. Like if everybody moves over to that groove, then there's no mistake happening. It's really just a change to the next level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of thinking, I need you back here. If I join you, then everybody has to kind of join because it becomes the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Now here's my other question, right? Because I brought this up for another reason, is when you sing, you got the singers singing, like the choir, whoever sing. It could be a soloist or a singer or a choir or whatever, right? And
I got my answer already loaded.
No. Like this is for keys players now, right? Or organ or whatever, or guitar because they play chords as well. That person is singing, and there's harmony involved with a choir or praise team or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Your chord choices and your voicings, when you're trying to sound dissonant, sometimes is a problem. Because when you're trying to sound nice, and you especially when you're trying to sound dissonant, and you're trying to do all the YouTube stuff you hear guys do, and those ghost notes or whatever, I've seen that go really bad. And I want to talk about that, because like when you have harmonies involved, usually the rule is stick with the harmonies. Don't do anything outlandish that's going to throw the singers off, because anything you play that doesn't match is a potential problem to the overall sound.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. So what do you think about that kind of...
That falls under the same category of playing your position. If you know that the chord is an F minor 9 and they're singing a chord that's within the F minor 9 and you decide to go to F sharp minor 11, you are woefully wrong. You should not do that. If you decide to do that, you have now gone rogue. Nobody can save you.
No. Facts.
It's clear and evident. And it's not an issue of you trying to be nice or you trying to create style. It's not that. You wasn't trying to play your position. You was trying to do whatever you wanted to do. And it's not going to work. Simply for the music.
Yeah.
And you deserve what you deserve after that.
Yeah.
Now, if you got singers that can roll with it, which is very rare, cool. But at the same time, they shouldn't have to.
They shouldn't have to.
You playing your position is playing your position.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing is, you can play around within your position. I'm not saying that it has to just be straight, flat. No, you can make stuff happen.
Yeah.
But if you know that this dissonance is, or whether you don't know, if you don't know, don't do it.
Facts.
But if you already know that it's going to work, or you have an idea of it's going to work, go for the approach. And if you fail, then you learned you should not do that.
Facts.
And hope that it's not a big mistake that'll get you shipped back home, or
Yeah, mess up your next gig. You're not getting called again for that.
Send you on a bus home or a plane ride home. You thought you was going to be in a tour for 52 cities. Now you got
2.
Now you back home because you want to play it like I said. I guess the best way to put it is they sing in an F minor 9. You decide to do F sharp 11, minor 11.
I'm gonna impress the artist. Yo, play the record, bro. In that situation, please play the record.
I'll even do you one further. You don't gotta play the record exactly, especially depending on the gig. If the gig is more of a free where everybody's just feeling music and it's a vibe thing, you can get away with certain things. However, you also have to realize what it is that you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't even be on that gig. But if you do know how to vibe, then vibe out. Go ahead, be free.
Yeah.
Now, how do you get there? Yeah, it takes experience to do that, but that's all it is.
Facts. Yeah. Facts. Because these things are running through my mind. Because I've sat down and heard people play at church events, at lounges, like in what do you call it? In the village. And you're like, bro, it's like you sit there, like, I see where you're trying to go with it. And it would sound good if these other elements with everybody else align with it. But like some dudes, like you said, you got to use your ear. Some dudes are tone deaf to everybody else because they're like, yo, this is so good to their own soul that they keep doing it. And one thing I learned from an OG, Johnny Mercer, God bless you, man. Shout out. He said, yo, if you're playing a song, do 1 or 2 nice moves, the max. Yes. Don't try to do 3 and don't repeat the same nice move twice. You got a maximum of 2.
You got 2 and you got to think of something else.
Yeah. After that, stay in the pocket, play your position like you said. But I sat down, I see dudes, like the choir or the singer is singing this and they're doing this. Yeah. Or the singer is singing this and they're still doing this. I'm like, yo, bro, you can't.
It depends. That's where I'll say if they're doing that and you're doing that, it's once this is where I think the vibe exists. When the singer is doing this and you're doing that, but it matches. And the bass player is doing that and it matches. And the drummer is doing that and it matches. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've witnessed it.
I agree with you.
But the thing is,
You can't be stubborn in something that's not working. Like it's like for me, I see it like, yo, you have this great idea, and you're trying to practice it on stage. This is not the place to practice it out. Because if it didn't work the first time, it's not gonna work. If the singers heard it and everybody, even if you got a stank face for it, from somebody you know, whatever, you gotta. One thing I always thought, after you go to different places, people are like, oh, you're a great musician or whatever. You have to learn who is giving you the compliment.
And why they give you the compliment.
And why. If it's a random person who knows nothing about music, it's cool. I respect that. I appreciate that you like my sound. It doesn't hold the same weight as somebody who's a musician who knows music and gives me the same compliment. Then the feeling is different for me because I'm like, yo, this dude.
I do you one further. I don't even respect that. I respect it. I respect it for the value of a musician. Okay. Then I respect it higher of. It's weird because it's different now. Okay. When I was younger, I could say, if this great musician said it, I'd be good with it.
Okay.
Now, as I'm older, if this great musician that's in my peer group says it, I respect it more than if Quincy Jones.
Ooh.
Because this person is in the trenches with me. So no. It's different because it's not. I'm
taking it back to Def Jam, the Hamburger Man.
Well, I'm not talking about. Well, here's the thing. Hamburger knew. I'll equate it to comedy. Hamburger knew that his bit of Hamburger was only gonna last but so long.
Yeah.
And his peer group definitely knew that Hamburger was not gonna last forever.
Facts.
That's what I mean by if your peer group is saying like, "Oh, yo, that's nice, that's dope," that's different. It hits different. Yeah. Now as I'm older, it hits a lot different because I still look at these guys like these are. And I respect them as such. Like these are the greats of the greats. And now they're saying, "Nah, you got it. You know it. You good. What do you want?"
That does mean a lot when it's your people's. Like you get a compliment from your boy or somebody who's at your level or somebody who's a little bit higher than you, but is in your
peer group.
In your peer group. Yeah. That is true. Because they seen you, like you said, you struggle. They go through the same thing or whatever. But I don't know, man. Quincy Jones said I sounded nice.
I didn't, like I said, remember, I got it on record that I still hold the musician status. I hold it in high regard.
Yeah.
But I still hold my peer group higher than that.
Okay.
So if Stevie gives me the compliment, trust me, I will go to my grave enjoying that. But I'll enjoy it even more if someone in my peer group.
Yeah. Who sings that song? And I'm going to tell everybody. If Stevie gives me a compliment on my plan, I'm going to tell, I'll tell you that same story 100 times for the rest of my life. But I get what you're saying, though. It does make sense.
And there's also different levels of that. So if I say Quincy Jones and Stevie Wonder, of course I want a compliment from them, and I'm thankful for it. Yeah. But if I get Greg Fillinganes, if I get a compliment from him, I hold that higher than them.
Ooh.
If I got a compliment from Jordan Rudess, I'd hold it higher than them. If I had it from, these are people that on our instrument that we know and have proven that they are not only just skillful and impactful, but they've also recorded mountains of content that has shown and proved that they are who they are.
Also, because they're in your peer group, these are guys you've had to prove yourself to, especially if they're a little higher than you in skill. When coming up, you almost feel like, yo, I got to get to this guy, because you challenge each other in a sense where you build that bond where like, yo, if this guy says I'm good, I'll give you an example.
Exactly.
There's certain gigs that when I first started trying to get out into secular gigs, and Will was trying to hook me up, right? I was scared, bro. I was like, yo, all I know is these stretch songs. I got to learn all these top 40 or whatever. He's like, yo, it's no different than playing at church. I'm like, nah, man. Like, yo, you got to. He's like, yo, it's no different. And I'm telling you, I'm recommending you because I believe that you can. I know you can. I don't know. He was like, I don't know why you think you can't, but I know you can. So when I went
we
out,
all do the same. We all do the same thing. I didn't even cut you off, but
yeah,
I sit and I say, I don't know. I'm not. There are many days I'm like, I'm not good. I don't even know why I play. I don't even know why I have these instruments here. Yo. Let me just throw them away. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't think it's right, because then that's why I respect my peer group and I enjoy them, that they say, no, you got it. You good. You good to go. What I will say is, it's cool that you say that, but I still would rather feel it, I guess. That's the word.
Yeah. See, but I didn't get to the feeling of it until he pushed me out and I went and I played and I called him. I called him like a little kid. Yo, I did it.
You did your first wedding where you had to do 70 to 100 songs.
Oh my God, bro. Yeah. Song after song after song after song, and like the transitions or whatever. Yeah. I was like, yo, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. He's like, yo, yes, you can. Just do it. And I got up there, and there was a bass player from the Bronx, Dominican dude, Junior.
Oh yeah, my boy
Junior. That's my dude, bro. This dude was, and John from Far Rockaway. He's from.
I don't know. He used to be from
Queens, Long Island.
John, wherever he wants to claim.
Mr. International, most interesting man in the world. He always got the glasses on. But those two guys, like when I was playing, and they're like, yo, the same thing as Will. They're like, yo, listen, don't worry about it. I'm gonna call out the numbers for you. Tell me what songs you don't know or you're not sure about. I'll just call out the numbers for you. And these guys kind of like covered me the whole time until I got my legs up under me. Where now, like, I could play the lines, I could play whatever I needed to play. And then
you can cover for them.
So I could cover for them. And it was just like, oh, I can do this. So like, I understand what he's saying as far as your peer group. They're the people that build you up. Like when you feel like you can't do something, they're like, nah, man, this is not what you think it is. Now, when I go play at a wedding or a funeral or whatever, because he had me at the funerals too, I didn't remember. Now I go play with so much confidence. I'm like, yo, okay.
I think confidence is just as important as knowing what you need to know.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. There was a point where I got confident and I'm like, yo, I got this. And I got overconfident because now I was like, yo, like I said earlier, this song sounds just like this song.
No.
I'm going to practice these right here. This is the hard song. I'm going to make sure I got this. This I'll do it. Yeah. I flopped, bro. I fell right on my face. I was like, yo, never again. Yeah. Treat every song with respect. Yeah.
It's the most corny whack song that everybody's like, oh, that's dumb, simple, that's easiest thing, until somebody calls it and then nobody else knows it, and then you're stuck out there. Yeah. Because remember, you're on keys. You got to know it. You got to know it. Yeah. You be overconfident if you want to. You better learn it. Now that, once again, going back to the band sound. If the bass player doesn't know the note and they're telling you they don't know it, then that's when it's like, okay, I'll go down to the register to make sure I make it happen.
Gotcha. Or so guitars, if you notice, like, so basically,
team sport.
So basically, if you notice the bass player is fumbling around trying to find a note, even if he doesn't say it to you and he's not standing next to you, but you notice that he always misses that one note, like he's trying to find it.
If you rehearse it and he always misses it, that's one thing, because you know that your teammate might fall and stumble here.
Okay.
But if it's on the fly and you don't know, and then you go for it, and he's supposed to be doing it, now you are in his way. But he might be doing something just to do that idea.
I got you.
So it's there's a certain nuance to it, but the thing is, it's logical.
Yeah.
So if this is your normal bass player, and you know your normal bass player always forgets this note, and you know that he's gonna forget this note, and you're in the joint, and it's already started, and he's about to miss the note. That's when you play the note. But that's understandable, as opposed to this is a hired gun. He knows what he's supposed to do. I'm gonna stay out his way and let him do what he's supposed to do, and I'm gonna wait to play my part. Now, if he cues you, even though he's a hired gun or whatever, it has nothing to do with it. It's at that then moment. It's about just getting through the gig and doing what needs to be done. Yeah. He's like, yo, I don't remember this. All right, I got you. I'll do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Until he jumps
until he jumps in, and then I come back out. Yeah.
Got you.
Because I still have to do my part.
Yeah, facts. And that's another thing. Like when you're used to somebody, let's say like I've been playing with Mikey since he was like 9.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 25.
He's 25 at his home church. It got to a point where, like, if we're playing certain songs, I don't look at Mikey. Mikey don't look at me. Mm-hmm. And the drummer as well. Remember Pierre Caesar, shout out. Like, we play the song and we do all the same hits. Like, even if it's something that we don't usually do.
Yeah.
For some reason, when he goes somewhere, I end up playing the same exact lick as Mikey and the drummer, the same thing. Yeah. We never rehearsed it. We didn't plan it. We didn't know. Yeah, like we didn't know we were gonna do this at this point. Mm-hmm. It's just like everything fell in at the exact same time, and then we look at each other like, "Yo, yeah, that was nice." So there's that situation, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And then there's the other situation was like somebody you just met or it's on the fly or whatever like that. You don't have that connection with them.
But you can. You don't have to have that same kind of connection, but there's something very similar. And that's why you have ears. So, no, I'm not saying about it.
I want you to expand on that. Because, like...
You hear them do a lick that you should be quick enough to either pick up on that lick.
Yeah.
If you hear them do a certain hit, you should be able to pick up on the hit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's by, depending on who it is, depending on what it is, it might be in a microsecond. Like, you wouldn't even... No one on the outside would know.
Yeah.
It's just the combined band is just vibing and doing what needs to be done.
Mm. So using your ears, like, I get what you're saying. I just want to disseminate it in a way that a novice musician who's trying to get in or who's now learning and a advanced musician could be like, yo, I understand what Will just said. Because like some people think using your ear is just like, oh, I got relative pitch. I could pick up this, the key she's singing in or he's singing in, whatever. But like it also goes into like if somebody plays a lick, if the singer sings a particular note, and sometimes you hear a chord in your head that goes with that note that's better than the chord that's actually written down for that song, that would take it to another level and would fit with everybody else. Mm-hmm. Like your ear has to, like, I don't know how to say it, but it's got to lock in with your hands and the situation. Does that make sense? Like what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's got to, it's very natural. I think you're trying to explain something that comes with feel. Uh-huh. And you should have a certain level of feel. If you don't have a certain level of feel,
you got to work on it.
I don't know what to tell you to work on it. You just got to have that. I don't know
how the mechanics of...
Yo, you can't teach that.
You can't teach that? Yeah. No. You can't teach that?
You got it comes naturally. It's ingrained. No. I mean, I think people can develop it over time, but just to say, use your, it's as simple as use your ears. I don't know how it's more to... Yeah. If you hear the drummer going through a series of rolls and you know it's going to end with a hit, and you don't come in with that hit.
Yo. You see, what you just said right there just opened my mind to something. That it's things that, you know, this is why it's the music conversations you want. Because it's stuff that we do all the time, but we don't talk about it. So we don't realize we're doing it. Like what you said, if the drummer's doing a roll, or whoever's doing a lick or whatever, in your head, when you develop your ear in your head, you already know how this is going to end. And this is the first time you're hearing it, but something inside of you already know this is going to end up here. And at the end of this, I need to be here. Yeah. Even if I don't follow through the whole way, but at the end, I need to be here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But like that comes with just playing a lot. I think that's the only way you can develop. You just gotta play a lot with different people, not just with the same people all the time, because then you're just gonna get used to them.
Yeah.
But which is another thing. When I was growing up, my church used to discourage you playing anywhere outside of that 4 walls, bro. It was like
Yeah, that's because of ignorance. I'm gonna just to
Oh man.
Yo,
no, it's
even at other churches, they did
all churches do that with their musicians, even if it's subconscious or even if they're unaware. But what they don't realize is that musically they're stifling their musicians by doing so.
Yeah.
So what it takes is another musician to either explain it, or maybe the pastor might also be a musician, but somewhere along the line, or you just might be tired of where you are at the church and like, I need to hear something new. Your desire to be a musician will lead you to hearing other music elsewhere, no matter what you do. And then you'll start to realize, oh, I need to engulf myself in other things in order for me to learn. I can't read the same book over and over again, with the exception of the Bible, because that's what I choose to believe. But you cannot say that this is the only book in the world and that I can't learn anything from any other book. Because I'm sorry, as much as I live through the Bible, I know that the medical journal will tell me where my gracilis tendon is. It'll help me know where the aorta, where everything I need to know medically is. So I need to know that. I need to read that book. I'm not gonna learn 4-part harmony in the Bible. I have to read a theory book in order for me to learn that.
Bro, not even in Psalms, yo. David gangster though.
He's gangster. He wrote a lot of great poetry. You'll get a lot of inspiration writing lyrics for music.
No 4-part harmony in Psalms?
There's no thought. You're not gonna learn that there. You gotta learn it elsewhere. So the same thing where if you're playing a hymn, which is dirge music from the 1700s, if you want the truth, which is bar music.
The hymn is the what music?
Well,
the 1700s.
I said dirges, but really it's like a equivalent to bar music.
What's
like
the word you just said?
Dirge.
I have never heard that word ever in my life.
I don't want to drink this Red Bull on camera, but I'm going to in order to wake up.
We need more sponsors, Red Bull. You know what I'm saying? Hook a brother up.
Either way, but
we'll be sleeping sometime.
Bar music from the 1700s is really the music that is placed behind hymns. So although we hold such a high reverence now in the year 2024, and we still do and we still should, the truth of the matter is that the music came from somewhere else. And I'm not talking about what Bach even wrote, because Bach did write a lot of music that were hymns as well, and he was more church focused. But some of the I'm so tired, I can't give you an example. Give me a Fanny Crosby tune.
Huh?
Okay.
Wait.
Well, wait. Those that know Fanny Crosby, you know what I'm talking about. She was a great hymn writer.
I thought you said Bing Crosby.
No, Fanny
Crosby.
I can't use my phone because the phone is the camera.
No, I'm actually looking up what dirge music is. It says dirge, dirge, Latin dirige, whatever it is a somber song or lament expressing mourning or grief, such as would be appropriate for performing at a funeral. So no wonder hymns are so touching, bro.
Well, it could be sad sometimes, depending. There are also other ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
I have never heard that word ever in my life. Dirge. The only thing that rings in my head, yeah, probably gonna laugh at me. I don't know if Mikey noticed. When I hear dirge, I think Fred Durst. Was he a rapper, some rock star in the early 2000s?
Fred Durst.
Is it Fred Durst? I'm lost. He had this song. I did it for the. I can't even say.
Here it is.
About Christina Aguilera. Fred Durst. Fred Dunst.
Yeah.
I'm tripping.
No, I haven't, because I want to make sure, because the thing is, people get very upset behind it. But the thing is, why get upset when you know the truth? You can know the truth and accept the truth and still say, we hold this in high regard and high reverence. But let me find it.
Yeah. Like these little nuggets really help you. Like when I remember in the 90s, 80s, I don't know when it started, but like black people always tell you, if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. When you know the history of what you're doing, it fills you up. It feels different. You don't just play just to play, just to sound good. Like you understand the weight behind it. I'm trying to find the proper word, but like it's not the same. It's like when I got on a plane to go to Haiti for the first time. I hadn't been in Haiti since I was 9 when I left the country to move here. But when I got on the plane and you looked out the window, they're like, yo, we're over Haiti right now, and you saw the city, you get this feeling that like you feel so grounded, like this is home. It's like the most comforting feeling I ever felt in my life. It was just like, oh my God. Like you feel like the dirt is part of you, and you ain't even got off the plane yet. Like you feel like, this is where I belong. It's just like a whole different feeling. And every time I've gone, I felt the same way. I'm like, dang, I should be leaving this place. But these ninjas might kidnap me. I might end up on the news. So I gotta go. But yeah, what was it?
I was reading an article, but the long and short of it is this: music will always come from somewhere. I think, and my personal belief is this: the message is always in the music. So it's because we're not the ones vocally saying the words musically. I leave it alone. Let the vocalist control what it is. But I'm not talking about what we do as far as work or job, but as far as hymns or the church goes, if it's spiritual, it's spiritual. If it's about Christ, it's about Christ. Let it be what it needs to be. Regardless of what the music is. It could be Biggie Small. So,
don't say
I thought I heard it on the radio. I'm not going to do the lyrics, but, the music is there. But
don't say WAP.
Well, I mean, if the music is WAP, but they're not speaking about WAP, that's different. Yes, there could be a case brought to say, hey, but we know exactly where you got it from and what you're doing. But if that's the case, then Kirk Franklin would have had a career for the last 20 years. And we enjoy it. So,
wow.
Do with that what you will. But back to the band sound.
The band sound, yeah. Decorum on the bandstand. On stage, people won't even say bandstand no more. I don't know why I keep using that word.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit.
That sounds like
now also with the bandstand.
Well, that's something else y'all learned today.
We were talking
about
a lot
your
about
history, bandstand.
what you hear, but we haven't really spoken about. I think you wanted the totality of the. I don't want to say bandstand again, but the band. Like, if you are we also trying to make sure that we're professional on the bandstand? You're respectful of your fellow musicians as well. You're not going there to disrespect nobody. Let the bass player play his bass. Let the guitar play the guitar. Let the horns do their horns. You're not there to rip and run all over the place, especially if you got a whole bunch of musicians, a whole bunch of singers, where you don't want to now step on their toes as well.
Yeah, don't bring your volume up because you see a cute girl in the crowd and you want to sound nice.
Well, the thing is now in most settings,
you're messing up the flow.
In most settings, you do a sound check where you set your level. Don't play with that level. Leave that level where that level
where it is. Yeah.
Get it to where you need it to be in your ears. Because most places now, we're not using floor monitors, we're using our in-ears.
Yeah.
Unless we're just vibing. In which case, we can always just vibe. But when you're working with a sound company, you're pretty much set to where it needs to be. You had that opportunity during sound check.
Yeah.
If you can't hear yourself, you're asking them to turn you up in your headphones so that you can let them do what they need to do for the mains.
Yeah.
So you're not overpowering the singers.
Yeah.
So those days are gone now. I think. There's always someone
There's always a guy.
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
But as long as you're respectful, you should be able to do and deal with that. What I am going to talk outside of the actual playing of music, if you are on a gig where you're working with a band and you are given music, you learn your part. You learn your music because you have other people. I'll just throw a random number: 10 other people that made sure that they learned what they needed to learn. So it'd be nice that you made sure that you learned what you needed to learn. Yeah. Don't come to the rehearsal if there is a rehearsal to now learn the song.
To learn the song at rehearsal.
Rehearsal is a review. Your individual home practice is where you're supposed to learn your stuff. Now, that's that. Also, this is another hot topic because it's a hot topic.
That's why Will got the 1-2, bro.
Nah, it's not a 1-2. It's just this is now experience because there's other people that have done many other things that I have not done, but I will in a good way. But I will say this: if they're telling you this is your, and I'm gonna get flack for this, which I don't understand why, but if they're saying that this is your uniform, show up in a, I'm gonna use the wedding circuit for a second. So they tell you black suit, white shirt, black tie, no graphics, no patterns, black shoes, black socks, no graphics, no patterns. Don't show up because you're a musician now and you gotta always have style in something that's not what was specifically said.
And please, gentlemen, please stop wearing your suit pants like you wear your jeans.
Yes.
Underneath your butt at an event. Like, who wears your suit pants and and with a belt? It's not like they don't have a belt. The belt on, it's still your underwear showing. How does that make sense, bro?
It doesn't. Now, I understand if you don't have to and it's a little bit more casual, fine. But if they're telling you that it's not casual, that this is as formal as it can be, then show up looking formal. Show up with that fresh cut if you need to. You got locks, make sure them locks is done. Make sure that everything that is, and it's not code switching. It's not anything other than the fact that you were asked to.
He already know what's going to be in the comment section.
I know. Because the thing is, everybody wants to be comfortable until they're in a situation where they're not supposed to be comfortable, and then they still want to be comfortable. Sometimes you got to wear the suit for the job. Sometimes the uniform is the uniform.
Facts.
Sometimes you got to do the right thing in order to make it work. Sometimes you got to play a C major and not a C13. Sometimes you got to play a D flat 9 instead of whatever arbitrary chord that you're trying to play. Sometimes you just got to roll with what it is because it is what it is. So, or you can create your own avenues. I have no problem with that. But if you're going to work for somebody, then you need to abide by what they're asking you to do. Or you don't have to work for nobody. You can work for yourself. But and I support you in your decision to work for yourself. However, you working by yourself, for yourself, and expect money wholeheartedly for you, it's without any backing or working with someone else. And when I say working with someone else, meaning, they're asking that you show up at 4:00. Well, I don't come out of bed until 5:30. Or I only wear jeans. I don't wear black dress pants. I don't even wear
or I don't have those articles of clothing. Okay, so you can't do this gig.
Or take the pay and use that to making sure that you get those articles of clothing. Guess what? If you are worth your salt, it'll come back around again. Where you'll have to wear,
bro.
Like it's simple.
When you just said if you're worth your salt, there's some guys who feel like because they're so nice on their instrument.
Sorry.
You all right?
I'm cramping. That's all right. Keep going. Keep going.
Some dudes feel like they're so nice on their instrument that they can show up any way they want and skill is going to make up for decorum. It does not. It does not. You might have gotten away with it because some people were afraid to tell you or whatever the case might be, or the person in charge didn't have time because they had too much going on. But it doesn't matter how much skill you got. If you are not good with people and following instruction, Nobody. Eventually, is going to work with you. They'll pick a guy who knows half the stuff you know, and he'll be doing all the major gigs, and you'll be sitting at home trying to get these little gigs here and there, wondering why. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to be able to get along with people. Like,
you'll go a lot farther. Man. Music is a major portion to the gig. I never say it's not. It definitely is. Yeah. But it's not 100%. Mm-hmm. There's always that 50 to maybe 30 to 20% where your professional plays a part. Mm-hmm. Where you have to learn to be a communicator, where you have to be cheerful, where you have to not be a down spirit. Some people don't want to be. If you're finding that you're not getting called for gigs all the time, it might be just your attitude. Your attitude. It might be your not so sunny disposition. It might be that we just not vibing with you. Yeah. It might be that it might be as simple, truth be told, as you showed up to a gig, you can't even say hello to the people. Yeah. Because it just means that you're not trying to be friendly, you're not trying to rock, you're not trying to do whatever. Yeah. And I understand, because that's a challenge for me, because my thing is this. I am a musician where in my mind I'm like, okay, covers all 30 people. Mm-hmm. And now you gotta go. But you gotta do something. Yeah. You gotta do something.
It's not like you just show up and you get on your instrument and you play. You don't interact with anybody unless it's the MD, giving instruction. And even if you're buddy with the MD, and you guys crack jokes or whatever, and you're ignoring everybody else in the group, that's going to bite you. Because these other people in the group, a lot of times, are good enough to be MDs. Yeah, yeah. Most of the time, they've been MD, and they play with other bands. So you're shooting yourself in the foot, thinking like, yo, I'm good with the big man. You don't know who else is in here, bro. Yeah. It could be a singer that you're meeting for the first time. You don't know who's who. Because sometimes the singer is the band leader. Sometimes it's been a bass player, sometimes a keyboard player, sometimes it's a drummer. It could be any musician. It could be anybody. Mm-hmm. And these people could be connected in multiple places that you actually would like to go. But because you don't feel like they're important right now because they don't have the position of this person. So you're going to treat this person well. And you're just
always treat everybody with respect. Yeah. Because it could be as simple as, I need such and such. Yeah. I need a singer. I need a bass player. Okay. I thought about you. Here, can you do this gig? And you cover the gig. Yeah. But now I thought about you. It's just a friend helping out another friend. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people don't even like to use the word friends. I'll say associate. Mm-hmm. For me, my thing is this. If I'm going to put my neck out there to get you bread, I find that to be friendly. Yeah. So I'm going to put you in, maybe not best of friends, but I'll put you in the friend category. Like, all right, let's see what we can do to do this again and again and again and again and again. And if you do this for so many years and you're still calling me an associate, it's going to be a problem. But the thing is this. We work together. We make money together. And we're entrepreneurs. All musicians are entrepreneurs. We're not at some company that's like, okay, you can work at a company. But even then, it's based on working together. Yeah. I got lost a little bit because of the Red Bull. They're kicking that. 10.99. Yeah, that's a whole other talk. Yeah, that 10.99 lifestyle.
Yeah. 10.99. Oh, here's another thing. Decorum sometimes mean knowing when to stand up for yourself. Because I'm in a situation right now. I'm not going to name names.
We're not even going to discuss the thing until it is resolved.
Yes. But I'm just saying, you got to know when and how to defend yourself. Because people will try to take advantage of you. But, so we're telling you to be nice and all that, which is you have to. But don't be so nice where people run over you and then you just let it pass. That can also mess up your bread. It's definitely gonna mess up your bread. So
And that's a great topic for another show. Yeah. Like a more in-depth, not even the situation.
Not specific.
But and that is a whole other episode. Yeah. Which we could include with that because that now turns into payments and taxes and 1099s and all of those things. Man. Which might have to be another Patreon.
We're bad with that tax.
No, it's no comment. No comment. No more comment.
Not paying tax. Paying tax.
Yeah, we pay our tax.
We're bad at charging tax to the people who pay us. I don't know what I'm saying. Just let's move on.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We undercharge a lot of times. I'm just saying that's what I'm trying to say.
We're over now. We're there.
Yeah. So decorum. Yep. Decorum. Let's bring it back home. Decorum. Just knowing how to act, basically, when you're on stage, at the rehearsal spot, meeting the people for the first time, just knowing how to just be polite. It'll just get you so far. Like a good attitude. I've even heard that in business training. They're like, a good attitude will get you further than who you know sometimes and how much you know. Because the guy that everybody loves to be around, you notice that a lot of times your boss don't know what he's doing. A lot of times it's just because he's good with people. He's good with either interacting with people, managing people, or he's hooked up by, uncle, daddy, or whoever. But usually people who are good with interpersonal relations go further. You just can't beat that. You know what I mean? You could be a genius if you want, but if you got a bad attitude, you're not getting booked as much as you could. You're messing with your own livelihood. So just cover each other. Show up knowing your stuff. Stay out the bass player's lane. If you're playing with two keys, kind of like pay attention to each other, pay attention to everybody. But, just make sure you're not an impediment in anybody's way while doing what you're doing. Make sure what you're doing is always a compliment to the people around you, as opposed to just you just sounding nice and, being cool or whatever. Because if you really want to make good money and you could do these things, man, people will cancel other people to book you just because they love your vibe. Yeah. It's really true. So again, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. All right. Just another tidbit. Our MK80 Rhodes here that he's a virtuoso, so he makes it sound good, even though there's like multiple keys that don't work on it. We're trying to get a new keyboard. We gotta get a new keyboard for that side because there's some things we have planning ahead that we want to do for you guys to kind of expand the show and give you guys more variety. We're gonna need some better equipment moving forward. So we're gonna try to set up a Venmo or whatever, because I heard Venmo, you get all the money they give you as opposed to super chats. Huh?
Zelle.
Oh, Zelle. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna set up something. We'll let you guys know. But meanwhile, Musicians Local. Check out Musicians Local, our sponsor. Everything you need. Everything you need. You need sound, you need singers, you need a band, you need individual musicians, you need lighting, you need whatever you need for your production, they got you. Transportation, everything. Do they do video?
Yeah.
And video, audio, whatever you want. So check them out, musicians-localnyc.com, or on Instagram, you could DM them at _musician_. I'd never get that thing right. Underscore. I always say scroll. underscore musicians underscore local on Instagram. And we'll see you next time. You see how Will is making this road sound good? And multiple keys are missing. Hook a brother up, man. He's suffering sacotash over here. He's Yosemite Sam. We're out. See you next time.